Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Meg Brewer, 31. And if you missed Sunday's games, holy cow, it almost looked like a football Sunday. Now, Tampa Bay Yankees was like 7-8, and that wasn't really that bad. But Blue Jays put up 10 runs. Rockies put up 13 runs against the Mets. Let's see here. Cardinals put up 12 runs, including Goldschmidt with 3 home runs. Then we had the Texas Rangers putting up 16 runs. We had the Chicago White Sox, who have done absolutely nothing, put up 17 runs. Now, the irony in this game is the game was 17-4, and Chicago only had 1 home run in the 17 runs, and all 4 runs from Cincinnati were all home runs. So that's just something that you don't see that often. So lots of offense. We'll have to see if that continues to go on today. It is Monday, so I do like to kind of give you a quick shot if you play like regular fantasy or Solaire. Just some teams to focus on. Arizona's got a pretty decent matchup. They play 4 games this early week here, 7 games overall. They get Miami and then 1 against San Francisco. See, the White Sox get Kansas City at Kansas City for a 4-game one. That should be against their pitching. If they continue to hit, like, I don't think they're going to put up 17 runs each game, but, you know, if as they start to get pieces back, they did lose Berger. They should be a decent also to look at. Let's see who else looks good here. Kansas City against the White Sox. Their pitchers have been struggling. Definitely in play. Twins have 4, tough, a little bit tough. It's like 3 against San Diego. Actually, no, they're off Monday, so never mind. The Mets, they're off. They only have 3 games in this Solaire, but it's a really good matchup at Cincinnati at the Great American Small Park. So that's something to look at. Yankees get 3 against Oakland. They get Judge back. Bader's come up, so they're looking a little bit better. Philadelphia is going to be somebody you want to look at accumulating for the end of the week because they go to Colorado for the weekend. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. San Francisco looks really good against Washington, then 1 against Arizona. And the Rays have 3 games against Baltimore and 1 against the Yankees. And Texas comes up against some decent pitching against Seattle, and then they play Oakland. So someone to maybe look at stashing for this weekend. So let's get back to DFS here. So we got 8-game slate on Monday. Starting at, there's like 3 games at like 6 o'clock, so we probably have like a turbo slate there. But it doesn't really look like weather's going to be horrible. Last night when I started to put this together, like, you know, walking in closer, so never mind that one. Not going to be an issue. But there's maybe about 30% chance of rain and wind blowing in at Wrigley Field. So that game is probably going to be better for pitching than hitting. Other than that, things look pretty good. So we'll start with the Yankees and Athletics. 73 degrees, wind blowing off Yankee Stadium, about 10 miles per hour. JP Sears and Nestor Cortez. Each one of these guys has struggled this season. Each one of these guys has looked not bad at points in this season. So we'll start with Sears. I think, you know, affordable price. I think all the low range pitchers, as you can see by the yellow graphic, are kind of risky today, but I think that there could be some upside for them. So Sears, besides playing the Angels against Seattle and against Texas, put up 20 DK points, had 7 Ks and 11 Ks. And again, the Yankees still don't have Judge, they still don't have Donaldson, they still have Stanton, they do have Bader back in there. They do hit left-handed pitching well usually, but that's not a given. If Sears can generate some strikeouts, might be in play here at 6.3K. So keep him in mind. Yankees, Cortez, like, just got absolutely destroyed by Texas last time out. He's a good pitcher, and Oakland again should be a good right spot, but we've seen them do well against left-handed pitching. So I think Cortez will still be popular. He still has generated at least 7 strikeouts in his last 4 outings, but he's given up 3 home runs, 1 home run, and 2 home runs in them, and at least like 3 earned runs. So in the last 3, including 7 against Texas. So maybe that was just nominally, maybe it was really hot there, maybe it had an off day. But and again, so that's going to probably drop him down. I like the price point here, especially on FanDuel. So I'll definitely be playing some Cortez, but I don't know if I would want him in cash. I'll have to decide on that. See, well, bat wise, Oakland again, I have them as the top leverage stack, and they might even be better than that, like go into like maybe the cheaper GPP category against Cortez. So I think they're definitely in play. So don't write them off just because they're in the leverage section. And the Yankees, I think, probably be my 3rd favorite stack here against Sears. But then again, I'm a little, I'll probably play some Sears and some GPPs because he's a cheap SP2 for me. So I think I'll hedge it. I think I'll play a Yankee stack, and I think I'll play some Sears. Yep. So the Cardinals and the Cubs here, we have Mikolas versus Stroman. Mikolas just really isn't generating the strikeouts. Kind of a reverse split guy, and the Cubs have a lot of righties, even though the wind is blowing in. It's only 52 degrees and a little bit of rain, which makes it good for pitching. I'm still not interested in him. Stroman on the other side has had a pretty decent season. Cardinals, even though they hit yesterday, have struggled at times. So, especially in a good hitting environment, I think Stroman is definitely somebody you can play. Cardinals would just be a GPP against them. I mean, it might be if Stroman picks up some ownership, they become the top leverage stack, and Oakland moves over into their spot in a GPP or even higher than that against Cortez. And the Cubs, I think, are my 4th favorite stack. Just kind of watch the weather on that for cash against Mikolas. Dodgers and Brewers, Goslin and Peralta. Goslin just does not go very far into games, so I just really don't like him. He's had like 6 DK points and 8 DK points in his first 2 starts. He's gone 3 innings and 4 innings. Even if he goes 5 innings, like they're keeping him around like 80 pitches. So I don't see him getting like 85, 90, 100 pitches. And even though Milwaukee hasn't been great, I do think that not that he's going to give up a bunch or the Dodgers bullpen's going to give up a bunch. I just don't think he's going to be out there long enough to pay off his price tag. So he's a fade for me. Peralta's quite interesting. We talked about him like Coors Field, that he should be like a 10K pitcher, and he has been a 10K pitcher. And he actually went out into Coors Field and had a decent night against Colorado. So I think he's a decent pitcher. He had 23 DK points. He was 6 innings, 2 earned runs, both home runs, and had 10 Ks. So, I mean, the Dodgers aren't a huge K lineup, but I think that he can get enough done in the medium range at 8.6 when he should be a 10K pitcher to be able to pay off his price tag and have a decent night. Bat-wise, again, I think the Dodgers, just because of who they are and all the lefties that they have in their lineup, would be probably my top GPP one. And Milwaukee's just in the cheap range, but not super excited against Goslin and a decent bullpen. White Sox and Royals. So the White Sox can put 17 again against Greinke. Maybe. I don't know. They are relatively cheap. So I think they're in play. But let's start with the pitching. So Cisse, he has been bad this season, but again, this is a decent, good right spot against Kansas City, although Kansas City has been putting up runs. But Cisse's last 4 has been 9 DK points, negative 3 DK points, 8 DK points, 12 DK points. Has not gone over 5 innings. Has given it 4 runs, 6 runs, 3 runs, and 2 runs. Home run in the last 3, and has only struck out 6, 3, 5, and 5. So, is this a good get right spot for him? I don't know. Maybe a GPP. We try to find out. He is a favorite here. Wind is blowing in a little bit at 10 miles per hour, but it's going to be 80 degrees. So, I mean, it's going to be better hitting conditions than where it's 53 degrees in Wrigley and the wind's blowing in. Kansas City on the other side, again, they've been putting up some runs and had some decent series recently. So, definitely a team to keep your eye on here. and watch. And I think I like both these teams in the cheap range. And maybe it's even, I didn't check to see if you can, like every single lineup has a good option, because sometimes like second base and shortstop, you're just like, yeah, this isn't going to work with these two teams. But I do think that you could potentially stack the two teams here. Greinke not playing his pitchers, Cisse, like I said, in GPP, but I think they're very, very cheap. So if you want to pay up for a couple pitchers, not that they've got great options tonight, but I think, that could be a strategy potentially for you, even in cash. Houston and the Angels here, Hunter Brown and Sandoval. Brown's been solid. He's had some games where he has struggled a bit, but he's still a young pitcher. But he's had most of his games, he has been brilliant, not elite, but very good. And the Angels are worse against right-handed pitching than left-handed pitching, so I think he's solidly in play here. Is probably the second best pitcher on the slate. Sandoval on the other side, I think I'll have some ownership of him. And Houston's better against lefties than righties, even though two of their best bats, in Tucker and Alvarez, are lefties. So, but I definitely think that's somebody that you can play here. Bat wise, Houston, I think is GPP against the lefty here. That, of course, they just still don't have a Tuve in their lineup. They're still waiting for people to come back, but they might get Chas McCormick back, and that's another bat towards the bottom that elevates things and is not bad against left-handed pitching. It's got a little bit of speed. And Angels on the other side, they're just so expensive. I just kind of off them today. I mean, they'd be a leverage stack against Hunter Brown, but again, like they're so expensive to stack here between Trout and Ohtani. Zito leading off, just really righty, just no thank you. It just hasn't been great. And all the rest of the guys are pretty much righties here, except for like the catcher, like Thessis. So not interested at all. Final game, we have Texas Rangers. Nope, not final game. We got three more. Texas Rangers and Seattle Mariners. John Gray is absolutely the worst pitcher on the slate. He has been absolutely horrible, which makes Seattle my favorite stack on the slate. Don't even say anymore about that. Logan Gilbert on the other side is another one of these bipolar pitchers where he's been really good and really bad. I think he'll pick up some ownership against Texas, but Texas can hit. Gilbert's had 18, 10, 18, 28, so he hasn't been like super dominant. He goes at least about 6 innings here, gives up 2 to 4 runs, not too many home runs, but his strikeouts have kind of been down. There's only been like 6, 6, 8, and 7. We've seen the Rangers strike out at times, so maybe it'll work out, but I'm going to put him on the bottom of the medium range. One, could he get like 18 to 20 DK points? Yeah, it's definitely possible, but at 9K, there's 3 other guys that I'd really like much better than him. But again, keep him in the player pool, especially if you're multi-entering an 8-game slate. I think he's definitely, plus he's got good win equity, especially like if you're playing on FanDuel here, because he should get the quality start and potentially the win, because John Gray should give up a ton of runs on the other side. So love Seattle bats, Texas bats, GPP only, probably 4th in line there. Marlins and Diamondbacks, Braxton Garrett. Now, Arizona has struck out against left-handed pitching a little bit, but Garrett again has been erratic. So again, I have him in the low section here, where it's all these guys are risky. He'd be the 3rd favorite there at 5-6. So if you're looking for some cheap guys to mix and match in, if you're doing 20 max or 150 max, I think he's fine. But I really think Arizona's probably going to be my 2nd favorite stack on the slate. Just they're going to throw a ton of righties out there, just like San Francisco does against people in mix and match, which some of them become pinch hit risk a little bit, but I think it should be fine. If they get to them enough, they should put up enough early on. That should be an issue. Gallen on the other side is probably rated as the top pitcher on the slate. Miami struggled. He's righty. He's had some off games too. Like, again, it seems like a theme for everybody here. But his last game against Texas, but the 2 previous to that, Kansas City put up 30 DK points. San Diego, he put up 40 DK points. 31 DK points against Miami previously. So probably just lock him in as your top pitcher on the slate. But I'll let you decide on that one when we go to build lineups. So Miami's probably Miami or Washington are going to be the worst leverage stack and probably the stack I'm least interested in on the slate. Like I said, Arizona, I think, would be number 2. So speaking of Washington, Jake Irvin takes on San Francisco here. Not interested in him. San Francisco has a 5.22 total, and they're probably one of my favorite stacks here with Seattle. But I put them on the cheap side because they're really not that bad. They're in the 3 to 4K range. You only got one guy at 5.3 in Estrada. And then DeSclafani on the other side, I think, is going to be probably my favorite pitcher on the slate. He's only 8-1. He opens up a lot. Last couple of games, just against the Mets, he had one off game, but at Houston, he had 26 DK points, 21 against St. Louis earlier in the season, 24 against KC, 25 against the White Sox. Like, he's only getting like 5 to 6K, so he's not a huge K upside guy, but he's really not giving up a ton of runs, not giving up a ton of walks. He only had 3 walks all season, so I think he's definitely solidly in play as an SP2 or your SP1 if you want to go like more mid-range guys there. So that's what I got for, and San Francisco bats I absolutely love. So let's look at the builds and get you on your way for your day here. So like I said, DeSclafani, surprise, surprise. I'm going to stack on Kansas City with Seattle here. If you want to go San Francisco, Seattle, that's fine. Or White Sox or Seattle, that's fine also. I'll let you decide if you're going to get up to Gallon, Brown, or Cortez, or Cisse. Any one of those 4 probably work there. Gallon's probably the best one, so you might have to play like Raleigh, a catcher, and Seattle has actually called up a guy, and if he's in the lineup, he's been decent as right-hand pitcher. Taylor Trammell, he'll hit the bottom, but he's not a bad wraparound guy to just go him. And then like J-Rod, France. So, you can play France over Pasquantino at first base there. Suarez, Witt, Clinic. I mean, if you need to pay up for some of the ones or Suarez's, and then if you want to play a cheap KC guy at third base, or whoever your cheaper stack you want to put in there, works out perfectly fine. If you go the San Francisco route, then JD Davis is only 3.7 there, so definitely some options. If you're looking at the White Sox route for third base, Hans Alberto, I think he had a home run last game, is only like 2.3 and hits 5th. So definitely some options there. FanDuel, same thing. DeSclafani he's the second highest pitcher price wise on the slate, but I think he's worth the while there. Perez or Pasquale at first base. Suarez, Witt, Clinic, Melendez are who I'm building around KC. So if you don't like KC here, you can play San Francisco or the White Sox, whatever cheap stack you want to throw in, but Seattle's the main one there. For GPP, I'm taking Peralta against the Dodgers. So you can throw Cortez here if you think that he's a GPP. JP Sears might be a decent SP2, but give me Arizona and San Francisco here. They pair really well together. So catcher, Sabol, or whoever goes for Arizona. Walker, Marte, Rivera, Estrada, Wade Jr., if Carroll lefty, I'm fine too, because probably will get to the bullpen. And there's like definitely some righty arms in Miami's not a great bullpen. And then for San Francisco, if you want to finish off with Jock Peterson, with Conforto, with Haniger, whoever, Wisely, if you need to save some money at 2-2, Carl Stevenson, whoever is in the lineup, make it work. For FanDuel, same thing. Cortez, Walker, Marte, Estrada, Peterson, Wade Jr. And that's what I got for you. So if you have any questions, from the chat below. Hit me up at MyBrewer31 on Twitter. If you want more information on FSi DFS, it's in the description of the video. How to get into our Discord to get our full season package or weekly package or monthly package. Very, very affordable. If you want more help with Major League Baseball and want to get all the cores for like every showdown, every tiers, things like that. So also, if you are helped by these videos, please help us back. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, share with your friends. Appreciate everybody that's done that. Again, every single day, we get more and more subscribers. Continue to grow, so really appreciate it. It makes getting up in the morning and doing this so worthwhile to see so many people watching and commenting and being helped by it. So really, really enjoy doing this for you. So again, just help us back by liking, subscribing, sharing with friends. So appreciate you watching. Good luck in your contest. You know how to get hold of me if you have any questions. See you next time.